trying to do a school update and I'm actually finding it very difficult because I keep going off on tangents about things. And so I've been asked many times, and I'm sorry it's taken me a long time to do an update on school, but I really am finding it difficult. I don't know if I want to talk about like our children in particular. I don't know if I want to do a follow-up. I did a video called "Our Public Schools Overstepping" a while back, and it was apparently like a hot topic with people. And I don't know if I'm doing a follow-up to that video or if I'm talking about the kids or what. And honestly, it's very hard to talk about because people get really sensitive about things. I've noticed that. Like, I don't know, people seem to care an awful lot about what someone else is doing, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, it's crazy. So I'm just going to try. This is the third time I've tried to do this, and we're gonna try to get through this. So okay, so first off, so our daughter's in public school right now. We're staying in public school. I will probably homeschool in the future. Why? Because I already end up supplementing what my children learn anyway, because we just do. Why are we not already homeschooling? Because we live in a district where our district is amazing, and we live in our district is one of the best districts you could hope to send your kids to in all of the United States, not just in Texas or our city. And so it's not as simple as like just homeschool them, because we actually have a really amazing district that does amazing things that I really support. But there are some issues I have, which makes homeschooling still an option. And so yeah, it's not just cut and dry. And the other issue is like, send them to private school. Well, private school here, at least, maybe it's not everywhere. Here in Houston, private school is a lot of money, and I have to pay for it times 3. It is so much money. Basically, like, the kids would end up having smaller college funds. We'd never get to do anything, and we'd probably have to downsize a lot. If that was the best and only option, we would do it. We would sacrifice everything, but it's not. Like I said, our schools are so awesome here that it's kind of like Plus, some of the only issues I have about schools in general would still exist at a private school. And then homeschooling, why don't we just homeschool? And this is where I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. And so we've had, the last couple of years have been difficult for my family in terms of like, we have lost a loved one unexpectedly, and it really was very emotionally draining. It's still hard. Really affected me on an emotional level. Everyone, obviously, but like, it just, oh my goodness, it just changed things a lot. And ever since that, I have just found that emotionally I am more rocky. I tend to be like a little more sensitive. I feel like I don't handle things quite as gracefully as I did. Now, I actually feel like I've been getting past that. Like, things have been getting better. But that's kind of how it's been feeling for the last couple of years. And then in addition to that, my grandmother has been very ill, and that has been an ongoing long thing where my mom would be gone, and then I would feel like I needed to get up there. And you know, I took all 3 of the kids by myself. My mom was there, but she was busy, so it was mainly just me and the 3 kids last May, and it was so horrible, honestly. It was wonderful to see the family, but I thought I was going to die. Like, it was just really difficult. And it just, so like, we were just had all, and so then it's like every time I just keep feeling like I need to go up there and I want to take the kids, but it's hard. And then in addition to that, we've had my mom who, you know, was diagnosed with cancer, and hers, it was very advanced, unfortunately, and we've been fighting that. It's just been a lot of emotional turmoil. And so emotionally, I am just, if I'm being honest, I don't think I could handle that aspect of homeschooling right now. Because if anyone has ever homeschooled, or you talk to someone who has, there's an emotional component to that, because you are teaching your children and you are emotionally involved with your children. And it is hard. I have been a substitute teacher for 2 years, and I actually ended up teaching the kindergarten class after a teacher unexpectedly quit. And I was in that classroom all the time, and those were like my kids. And I really was attached to a lot of those children in there, and it is still different when it's your own kid. It's different, and it's emotionally heavy, and it can be hard. And right now, at this point in my life, I feel like I'm not the best thing for them academically. Now, I supplement. I feel like I'm really good at that. Like, I work with Sophia on math a lot, and she is so far ahead in math that I feel like it makes me pat my own back. Like, I'm very proud of that. And so, you know, that is happening. And I used to be scared that I couldn't teach them. I used to be really worried that like I was not going to be able to teach them everything they needed to know. But actually since then, that doesn't really scare me anymore. So if that is something you've thought about, I promise you, you can do it. There's so many programs and things out there that it's possible. And so yeah, so that's the homeschooling, why I'm not homeschooling right now. I do not feel like I could do it right now at this point in my life. Homeschooling does not seem like the best option for me personally. However, that being said, my heart tells me that I want to homeschool my kids. Like in my heart, I feel that. So I think that I've emotionally done a lot of healing really recently, and I'm just hoping to continue that. And I want to get to a place, I think as the children are getting older, I actually find it to be more easy for me. I know some people think it's harder as the kids get older. For me, as they've been getting older, I have been happier. And so I am finding it better. I still have stressful moments and things, but I'm just enjoying things more. I feel more confident and just, I don't know, I just am enjoying it more. And so I think as they're all getting older, eventually we will probably homeschool. And the main reason we'll probably homeschool is going to be because I do want to, honestly, the main reason is freedom. It's freedom to do what I want with my kids, to teach them what I want and how, and let them learn the way I think works best for them. Basically, not just have them be the little sheep in the school system. And I say that without any malice towards the school system, because again, I was in public school and I loved it. But there were issues. I remember in school feeling like if you were doing the right thing, you were basically ignored. Like, it was like they only had time to pay attention to the children who had issues. And that's good in a way, because those are the kids that need extra attention and extra love. But I think that kids always need to feel special, and I don't mean they need to be coddled. We're actually pretty strict in our parenting and our teaching, and we have high standards of behavior and education. So there's a difference between the coddling. Like, I don't believe in that. I personally am not of the mentality of like, everyone's a winner, like when you play a game. And I think that like, it's good to have like, sometimes we don't win and that's okay. So like, that's different. Like that's how I feel about that, and no hard feelings if you feel like everyone should be the winner. Like, I don't care. Like, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But I'm separating that. Like, not the coddling, but I think every child deserves to feel, you know, and needs to feel, and I think it's normal for them to want to feel like they're noticed, that they're somebody, because you are somebody, whether you're 4 years old or you're 18 years old or you're 36 years old or you're 42 or you're 97, I don't care. You are somebody. You matter. You matter when you're a baby, and you matter when you're in school, and you're not just a little person, a little sheep with a number. And that was an issue I had in high school, especially because, you know, in high school I was on a varsity tennis team. I was in I did advanced like show choir and vocal performances. I was in every club imaginable, straight A student, you know what I mean? Like everything you could do to be like awesome. And I mean, everyone was proud, everyone's like, good job, but you felt like almost like you were doing all these things, and like, I remember feeling like, okay, like no one really cares. But then, you know, and so I remember that as a teenager, that was really hard, like to feel like that, to feel like, you know, and I was fortunate because I had parents who were so wonderful and so loving, and they were always letting me know how proud they were of me. Now they had high expectations, especially my mom. They did have high expectations. They knew, they were always like, you were smart enough to get an A, you're gonna get an A. So they did have high expectations, but they also, you could always tell how proud of us girls, like my sister and I. My parents like were proud of us, and we knew they were. I mean, they just were so proud of us. And so I was lucky I had that. But if I hadn't had that at home, man, I think those emotions would have been even more manifested. And so basically, like from my own personal experience, and then from what I've seen working in school districts and volunteering in school districts and just all of that, I'm like, children need to know that like, they are special and they are wonderful, and that, you know, life can be good. And I think, you know, just learning happiness and all of that. And that is the kind of thing that I think sometimes it's not even the school's fault, but I think it's hard, like they don't have time to do that. And so that was a really long spiel, and it's emotional, and I hate sometimes doing these vlogs because I feel like I will talk and talk and talk and I still don't quite get my point across, because it's very hard to verbalize exactly what I'm thinking and feeling. It's hard to like get it out there. Plus, you always have to be wary of people who take everything the wrong way, or make their own assumptions and then like push that onto you, and that's very annoying as well. But I hope I kind of get that across. It's just like I don't really think it's like something that's wrong with the schools, and this is something that's not just about state school, like in the United States. This is the school, I don't care where you go to school and anywhere in the whole entire world, you know, just from what I've heard from people from all over, that's kind of how it is at every school, even when they're really good. So all of that is probably why one day I will homeschool. It's because I just want freedom. I want to teach my kids certain ways. I want to be able to scoop my children up and run off to Europe and show them things. And I want to, you know, for all we know, in 10 years, we'll be able to go to the moon. Like, good luck getting an excuse from your school to get to go do that, because I can tell you in our district, they would be like, no, who cares if it's the moon? They're like really strict. And so, you know, I also want, like, you know, say that, you know, Grayson's not started school like that. What if he struggles? Like, what if he needs to, what if he's just as smart as Sophie, but he learns in a different way and they can't accommodate him? And, you know, I want freedom. It's not just freedom about being able to take the children places when I want or how I want or whatever. It's also about the freedom to make different choices for your kids. And, you know, some people see that as like being a helicopter parent, or you're trying to control too much. But I disagree, because I think that there's a difference between a helicopter parent who's just hovering and trying to control every little aspect of their child's life, and then a parent who just wants to be more involved in this thing that their children are doing for a very, very, very big part of their lives. And I just think that there's a difference. I don't think it's the same thing. I think, you know, you do have the helicopter parenting and everything like that. And for me, it's more like almost the opposite. Like I just, and also I kind of, I'm one of those people, I don't like being told what I can and can't do, especially with my kids. That rubs me the wrong way. So all of that being said, even though we've been actually quite happy in our district, one day I really do think we will homeschool, but right now it's working for us. I really like the school that my daughter's in, and I'm excited to send my son there. However, that being said, we have gone ahead and applied both the children to get into a magnet school that is semi-close to us. Not really, but close enough. Like, I'm willing to drive there. But it can take, they said that the wait list there can be up to 3 years. Just because one gets in doesn't mean they'll accept the other one, even though they're siblings. I asked, they were like, well, the year after they'll get priority enrollment, but the first year getting them both in, they both just have the same chance independently. So we don't even know if they're gonna get into the school. Then if they do get into the school, are we gonna go there? I don't know. It sounds really good. The school sounds amazing. The facility, it's a magnet school or a charter school, just FYI. They're usually still public schools, so they're publicly funded. So they're, you know, they kind of have the same rules and things. The difference though is that their principal or their headmaster, the one we're going to, has a headmaster, not a principal. But you know, they can make choices, and they have a little, you have a little bit more freedom in that aspect. But they you know, it's still like a public school in terms of like, so like, you know, their facilities have to be paid for that, but you know, with government help and things like that. It's not like a fancy private school. And so the facilities at this place, they weren't as like spectacular as the public school in our district. Because again, we are in a really amazing district, and so our schools are beautiful. But I don't think that should be the reason you choose a school. You should choose a school because the staff and the principal is amazing, and because the teachers are amazing, and the student body is great, and that they're teaching in a way that you like, and that they're presenting your kids with opportunities that you like. That's what matters. And so in that aspect, the school seems really, really great on paper. See, that's the thing. You never know if any of this is going to be good or bad or great or wonderful or horrible. You don't know until you experience it. You know, I'm scared about, emotionally nervous about homeschooling right now, but maybe it would be perfectly fine. I don't really know. And that's why I will try it eventually. And I was terrified of public school because of how domineering I feel like they can be. And it's not been that bad. Some things have been, but many things haven't. And then this school seems perfect on paper, but maybe we would go there and they wouldn't be. So I don't know. So basically, we applied the children for that school. If they both get accepted, because if just one does, we're not doing it. If they both happen to get accepted, because it's a lottery system, then we will have to consider it. I don't know. So I don't know what we're gonna do for sure. But for right now, both the kids are going to public school as of right now in some way. And Audrey will eventually as well. Audrey's going to go, she will be 3 in the fall. I'm going to homeschool her myself, just like the other kids. And she's also going to do academy, a little preschool academy, and she will do that 1 or 2 days a week. I'm not sure yet. And that's our plans for schooling. That's kind of how it's going. So just a quick update on Sophia. Sophia is loving school. She's definitely ahead, and sometimes that's sad because I know she gets bored, but she never acts out. She is wonderful. She is teacher's pet, and the teacher always has her. The teacher's been really good about trying to give her other things to do. And she actually has Sophie help with the other kids a lot of the time, which is great on one hand, but on the other hand, sometimes it makes me sad because I know from talks I've had with Sophia that she feels a little disconnected from the other kids. She thinks of the other kids as like Grayson. And basically that's her 6-year-old way of saying, like, I really like them. I love Grayson. I like to play with him. But he's like a 4-year-old. He's not the same age. You know what I mean? And that's how she sees her friends at school. But on the other hand, her friends at school love her. Sophie is just so loved, and that makes me really proud that other children, every time we volunteered at that school, every kid will be like, are you Sophie's mom or are you Sophie's dad? And they'll just be like, I'm Sophie's best friend. And there's like 93 of them who are apparently her best friend. And her teacher told us that's just how it is. So I'm glad that she, has that. She really wants to go to this other school because we had to, we found out a lot about it, and it's an advance. This other school, one of the good things about it is that in Sophie's public school, they have like these gifted programs, and Sophie's in it for kindergarten. Her kindergarten, her whole kindergarten is 170 something kids. Only 8 of them are in this gifted program, and tons of them applied for it. So I'm very proud of her for being in that, and it's been a great thing. But in that class, they always teach them about like, it's okay that you're different. And basically they're almost like, you're smarter than everyone else. It's okay, it's good. Like, and Kyle and I, we don't really love that. We're like, yes, it's good to teach that it's okay to be different. It's not so great to teach that it's okay to be better than someone else. Like, there's a difference. So we're a little weary about that. We're gonna have to see. It's like, we don't want Sophie being like told that you're better than everybody else. Like, it's okay to be different is a different lesson than because you're so smart, you're better. I don't know, it borderlines on that. That's a whole other story, but in general, that program has been great for her. It's good that she has those 7 other kids that are more on her level. But the school, the magnet school we were talking about, they don't have that program because they hold all of the children to that standard. And so that might sound in some ways that maybe that school's a little crazy academically, and it is. It is a hard school academically from everything we've read. But they also firmly believe in play. The kids at that magnet school would get more recess and outside play than Sophie does at her school. So that's a good thing too. So I'm kind of like, ooh, that sounds nice. But again, we've really been happy. Sophie's public school she's in has done such a good job with her. They really have. So that is that. So Sophie's doing great. Grayson's really excited to start school. I used to be worried about him. Now I'm not. He's been, just loving going to his little academy that he does once a week. And we don't even do it every week. But he loves it. He makes friends. He's really learning how to read so well. And I think by the time he starts school, he'll be reading great. So that'll put him ahead of the kindergarten class, which is what our goal is. It's not because we're trying to put them ahead, but it just gives them confidence, especially Grayson, because he's more sensitive. So if he felt really confident about his abilities, I think that would help him. So yeah, so there we go. There's our update on school so far. That was long. I hope I kind of updated on my personal opinions, why we're not doing this and why we are doing this and why we will probably do this in the future. And how the kids are doing. The kids are doing great. Sophie's very happy. She does want more of a challenge, but we do I homeschool her extra math at home and everything else, and so she's getting extra learning through us that she asked about, by the way. So that's good. I'm glad that our main hope, our main goal for the kids is we want them to be excited and curious about life and learning and everything else. and you know, you're only with your kids for a certain amount of time, and they have to go to school for so much of that time. It's like you just want it to be okay. So, and there's just a lot of things that you don't know if it's going to be okay until you do it. And that's kind of the situation we're now. So for the moment, we're good. And that's what we're gonna do, and that's what's happening, and that's the update. All right, so if you guys have any questions or thoughts or whatever, just let me know down below. And please keep in mind that people do things differently, and that's not a bad thing. I know, like, the last time I did a video, like, people were attacking each other in the comments because some liked this and some didn't. And how boring it would be if we all wanted to do things the same way. That would be the most boring, horrible thing. I think that, like, all of the things I talked about work for different people, and they're all good options depending. So just remember that. You have options as a parent. Someone else might choose a different option, and that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different. And yeah, it's a lot to think about. Old Courtney before kids wouldn't have thought about any of this, but Mom Courtney thinks about it all the time. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to everybody later. Bye.